Good morning, people, man. Good morning. Let me check. Mic check 1, 2. Let's yeah. We're good to go. We're good to go, man. Big up everybody, man. I was supposed to be doing this later with Ends. Hopefully, if he gets back from the gym in time, then of course he will quickly join me as well. Savage is back with the Hangover show at 12 o'clock. So 11 o'clock. So 1 hour, 57 minutes to be exact. So this will just be redirected straight to the boy Savage anyway. So yeah, make sure you guys head on over there, man. Yeah, let's talk, man. Let's talk. In fact, I'm going to try and keep this to 57 minutes. That is my target for today. There's been a lot of chatter, obviously. Big up goal ratio, big up CJ in the morning. There's been a lot of chatter. I see, obviously, after the Liverpool game, as we know, Liverpool drew 2-2 to Newcastle. A lot of conversations, and listen, I think it's good conversations. I like it when the fan base for once we're in unison about something. It's just maybe some of us have a different way of getting to that end result, which is obviously you want Liverpool to be good and blah blah blah. But obviously the main topic, as per usual, has been the midfield, and I think it's been pissing people off for quite some time. Especially because it's been an area that we've spoken about for ages. This ain't new. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, this ain't new. This ain't something that, has just popped up over the last season because last season was so bad. No, I feel like we kind of thought about it, maybe even in the year that Liverpool won the league, but certainly the year before that when Jurgen Klopp's last season, I think quite a few people were like, but then, the team performs, wins the Premier League. Those conversations, they get quieter and quieter. And I think after last season, listen, I've got it too. I feel like we've all got it too. It's like a PTSD, right? So even when I'm watching Liverpool yesterday, they're doing certain things. Big up Covenant. They're doing certain things where I'm like, it's almost like I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, it's too similar. It's too the same. It's too... But obviously it's going to be regardless, right? Because ultimately the manager only left the other day. How much different could it possibly be? And I mentioned this in my match preview, right? My match reaction. And I said, maybe I was coming into the game thinking, I'm going to see something a bit different. And, everyone's been talking about the intensity, people loving training because the players are running and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, right? So I thought, okay, I'm going to come into the game. If I see something different, I think that will satisfy my taste buds enough. Do you get what I'm saying? I won't be so harsh on the team. But watching the game yesterday, I'm sure some of you may agree, some of you may disagree, but I'm sure you watched that game yesterday and it was literally just like a game last season. Think of a game last season where Liverpool just weren't ultra shit kind of thing. They just weren't really rubbish, but it just felt like, oh yeah, this is just another one of those kind of games going forward. Everyone talks about that. And listen, you should look at the positives within a game where you drop points, which is always going to be disappointing regardless of who you're facing, right? But you drop points in a game like that. So you're going to look for those kind of positives. And I guess the positives were, you can see Liverpool are the same as they've always been, as I said, from even when we had Voronin, when we had Andy Carroll, when we had David Ngog, trying to think of the other crappy stuff, Mario Balotelli, Fabio Barini, trying to think of Titi Camara, them days, we've always been this way. Liverpool will always score goals. It does not matter. That is just Liverpool. It will always happen, whether we are the 8th best team in the league, whether we're the best team in the league. That never changes. So I'm never that concerned with Liverpool's attack in terms of can they score goals. Yes, we would like them to score X amount and this, that, and the third, but scoring goals is never going to be Liverpool's problem. It's always the other way. It has been that way since I've started supporting Liverpool, right? So you're talking, what, 97, 96, 97, 98, between that kind of period, right? So since then, that's all I know with Liverpool. So when I'm watching the game yesterday and people are talking about, yeah, but the attack and, you can see, I don't care. Like, I'm going to be honest, like, I personally don't care. I'm not saying you should care. I'm not saying you shouldn't care. I don't care, because that's not going to be an area where I'm going to necessarily praise, because I'm like, yeah, we did that with Voronin. I'm not going to praise that now because you're doing it with way better players. No, no, no. We need to sort out the other side of the pitch. Liverpool can have no system, no structure, no nothing. I promise you, they'll still go out there and still, under Roy Hodgson, we were still scoring goals. Yes, you're not scoring loads of goals, you're not creating loads of chances, but you're still scoring goals. You're still able to do that. That is just Liverpool in their DNA, right? I'm talking about let's see how we are going the other way, and that is the topic of conversation, right? Is, do we think, and you guys can obviously vote in the poll, and I'll read some of the chats here. Do you guys think that signings is going to just change everything? So, and I'm trying to think of it in terms of what type of signings do people feel like if they got this player, I don't say automatically, because I know no one's necessarily saying that, but do we just think, okay, you sign player X, whoever that is, I don't know, Lamine Kamara, just as an example. You sign Lamine Kamara. Do we feel that that's going to change the way Liverpool operate in the midfield area, in their rest defense, etc., etc.? Do we think that changes because we've got a Kamara, or not? I would love to know. I really, really would love to know. But yeah, let me know, and we're gonna get into it. Let me read some of these comments. But like I say, man, morning to every single person. Got Ratio CJ. In my opinion, Zobo hasn't got the positional discipline for our midfield. He runs around with no structure. Simply, I will drop Gakpo, Isak, Wirtz, start Rio left wing, Kumas 9, Munoz right wing. They will run riot and defend from the front. I disagree with that. I think what's so crazy is Gakpo is probably the only attacker I would keep in that lineup. I'm going to be so honest, and I do not rate that guy at all. I can't lie. He's the only one who looks somewhat efficient. He's the only. Let's put it this way: in that forward line right now, in Liverpool's forward line, he's the only player in that forward line that you can trust to score a goal. I cannot trust any other of those players. I can't trust Issa. I can't trust Rio. I definitely can't trust Munoz. Who else is there? That's it, innit? So yeah, he's the only one I would actually just keep in there. So Liverpool probably, if Liverpool don't sign Barcola, you can't even sell Gakpo now. Like, you've left yourself in this situation. This is where we're at now with Liverpool, which is interesting, very, very interesting. What's this? He was all right. Oh yeah, and Kirkes isn't good enough for LFC. We're going to talk about the game a little bit more in a sec. If you haven't watched my match reaction, make sure you go check it out. Price of players dictating starts is ridiculous. I hear that, my bro. Rio and Kumas are nowhere near ready to start for LFC. Kumas, yes. I do not see it with that guy at all. Rio, with the Rio thing, it's if he's not starting now, then I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't feel like under 21 football is Rio's thing. I don't know how much you're gonna develop just sitting on the bench, especially a winger and stuff like that, because you end up out, just in the cold. So he's gonna maybe need a loan where he can play more consistent minutes. I'm not saying you play every single week and all of that kind of stuff, but I am saying that you do need to play somewhat consistently. So yeah, I'd have to wait and see in that. Gakpo, Isak, and Wirtz look like running with legs like cement. Again, I don't feel Gakpo was that bad. Look, I say that bad. He was the best of a bad bunch, in my opinion. Like, there was no one player that I thought was better than him in the game anyway. I used to think you were harsh on critiquing the overall level of the players we have, but yeah, damn, these men can't pass and control of football. And most importantly, they don't have tactical discipline. It's a funny point you make here. I am actually harsh. Don't get twisted. The guys will tell you, Enz will tell you, Jerry will tell you, I am probably too harsh, right? But it is because I think, like before, I used to have an issue, right? And I used to measure Liverpool to like the best Liverpool I think I've ever, and just my opinion, the best Liverpool I've ever seen is the 18-19, 19-20 kind of Liverpool, right? Those 2 seasons for me is the best I've ever seen. So I'm always I used to always measure Liverpool up to that standard. And when I say that standard, it reminds me a little bit of Arsenal today. You look big, you look strong, you look physical. Tactically, you're just on point. The players, you look in the tunnel, players that, the opposition looks scared. It's those kind of things, right? Yes, the tactical side. Liverpool, in my opinion, the 18, 19, 19, 20, I don't think Liverpool actually played great football, but it was, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, there was like it's like Man City. It's like Man City in their pomp or Man United in their pomp. You just knew whatever Liverpool did, they were winning the game. Liverpool could win the game 1-0. I promise you, back them times, I was comfortable. I was like, oh yeah, 1-0. Yeah, that's easy. That's super easy. Like I don't feel, like people say, oh, 1-0 is a dangerous scoreline. And obviously it is a 1-0, 2-0. Those are dangerous, right? The opposition, you never know. All it takes is the deflection and stuff. I was never worried. I promise you, I was never ever worried. I looked at Liverpool and I said, you guys are the bad boys. Like I used to think you were just at the top of the food chain. Do you get what I'm saying? Then you win the Champions League, and you miss out the Premier League by 1 point. Then the next season you win the Premier League at a canter. Come on, man, like that. And I think that's what I used to do, right? So when I used to then, obviously, I think then I start streaming. I start doing videos and stuff 2020. So we're going down a trip down memory lane. But yeah, I start doing videos in 2020. So you can imagine I'm coming off the back of that. So technically, I was probably seen as which is so funny now because you guys know me in this way, Megatron, all of that. But big up yourselves. But I was probably like a top red before. You couldn't chat to me about Liverpool. You could not chat to me about Liverpool. Couldn't tell me about Van Dijk. You couldn't tell me about Trent. You couldn't tell me about Fabinho, Henderson versus Pogba conversations. Well, Pogba can go do his dab somewhere else. He can do all of that over there. Do you get what I'm saying? Like that's what I was on. So for a long time, I struggled with trying to understand that Liverpool don't need to hit those heights to still be a good team, kind of thing. And it's only really been in the last like couple of seasons where I've just kind of said, cool, whatever. But now what I'm looking at is that it's almost like you're a club and you're a team that's, you don't know how to become a top successful team. I just don't really get it. Like you don't really know how to continue on. You don't know how to be in a position of strength and continue. And that kills me, because then when I'm watching the football, I'm like, I can stand the football being like Slot's football if you keep winning the Premier League. If Slot kept winning the Premier League, no one gives a shit. Yeah, because there's no way no one was looking at Mourinho football saying, oh, this is sick football. No, you didn't. You didn't care. You went back to back in the Premier League. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, nobody cared at that point. You only started to care Mourinho's third season, for those who watch the documentary. You only care in the Mourinho's third season where the team ain't doing so well. Now, the John Terrys, the Frank Lampards are not doing so great. Yeah, and now we start to care about, yeah, football's not really that good and we're losing games and blah, blah, blah. But you didn't care before. Nobody cared, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with Liverpool. And that's why I critique them so much now, because I'm like, it's not even listen, you guys are professional athletes at the end of the day. You're Premier League players, right? So when I'm saying you're shit, it's relative to your peers, right? Obviously, I'm not as good as you, clearly, but I'm looking at you guys and I'm looking at the team. I'm looking at the identity. I'm looking at the ideology. I'm looking at the tactics, the systems, whatever you want to say, whatever buzzwords. And I'm just like, this doesn't make sense, because I look at other teams and I can see that they've got it clued. You know, they're clued up. They're with it, but they don't have the quality of player that you do. Why is it the quality of player that you guys have, World Cup winners in your team and all that kind of stuff, but yet you're not really clued up with it? It's a weird kind of dynamic. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm probably so much more harsher on Liverpool, because I'm like, we're supposed to be expecting the best, right? Like everyone keeps saying it, like, all right, so that's crap. You drew 2-2 yesterday. Everyone's like, I'm seeing people telling me about, oh yeah, you know, it's a good away, but no, it's rubbish. Liverpool were poor. They were very, very poor. Do you know what I mean? They were going into this game, new season, new gaffer. I mean, forget even the style of play. Can you look like you're a team that's supposed to be on the up and up? You didn't look like that at all. You looked like the same Liverpool from last season. And in fact, in the game, Liverpool looked like there was no difference between them and Newcastle. Like, I didn't notice there wasn't like a distinct difference between the two, and Newcastle just played better. I would probably understand that more. You know me, I'm logic, so sometimes I just don't really get it. But I would understand that more if it was, yeah, you know what, it's just lucky deflection and this. No, you both look like the same level of team. And people been putting Newcastle in like 15th. this season. Where does that leave Liverpool, man? Sorry for my rant there. Not signing system and right players to make system work. No way we have a pressing system and Isak, Wirtz and Gakpo. I agree with that. This is the same problem we had with Salah because Gakpo scores, he starts. This is a huge mistake. Let's put you. There's no one else, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Like you're probably right in regards to. You're probably right in regards to the player themselves, but Liverpool have no one else. Like I said, I'm not trusting Kumas. I'm not trusting Munoz, and Munoz maybe actually tell a lie. Munoz, yeah, Munoz is the one where I'm like, yeah, you could probably play a Munoz, and it shouldn't be too bad. To be honest with you, but yeah, Kumas needs to be sold. I think it's both having players who are more tactically competent and grown up would be more aware of the structure, but is the manager enforcing it? I'd like to think he is because of Bournemouth stint. These are things I have zero idea. I would love to kind of know and understand, a bit more behind all of that. But I'm with you. I'm with you. What does that say? Take note, G. Both our goals came from right wing Salah's position. Yeah, don't watch that, man. Big up, Gary, man. Hope you're doing well this morning. Isak won't work at Liverpool. He stinks. Correct. Just done cooking cow and coppish. Good fun. What's Cow say about big up Cow, man? I listened to some of, I think it was their match reaction, but I feel like by the time I started watching, it was only Drifty and Ram, I think. Maybe I watched it from the beginning. I can't remember. I'm sure I saw those two on the screen, so I don't really see what Cow was saying. If Salah was playing, we would have lost. Both our goals were made on right wing. Nah, fair. Salah scored twice yesterday, man. Liverpool definitely would have had more of a chance of winning with him in the team. Yeah, Trudon. Yeah. Like those two, yeah. See, this is what I was saying, yeah, about Liverpool heading into the season with Iraola. I've got no problems with Iraola's football and maybe what he's trying to do, right? My issue, I guess, comes with it is that you are really relying on the physicality of these players and the fitness, fitness and physicality, whether you want to put them together, cool. You are proper relying on that. If that is not on point, boy, like, and again, that was another thing that pissed me off about Jurgen Klopp is that you have a system that isn't built for more than one set of players. And for some reason in my mind, I'm like, but why? Like, I don't get why you don't have a system that is conducive to allow for almost anybody to just step in. Yes, you're going to see differences because player X is obviously the Salah is Salah or Mane is Mane or Fabinho is Fabinho. So I'm not expecting the replacements to be like for like in that sense, but they should be like for like in terms of what you're asking from them. And then they're going to do it differently. That should be my difference, or that should be the difference. I just feel like, I don't know, man. Like I'm looking at it, and remember, you've been at Bournemouth, bro. Like you don't know what it's like you always have to have possession. Your teams were never built like that. You might have had the odd one or two games. So again, maybe Iraola a little bit will understand it. I don't know, but he's never been in that situation. No club that he's managed is he a part of a team where no, you need to go out and there dominate. You need to dominate possession. You need to dominate territory. You've never been there. Rayo Vallecano, Bournemouth. No, at Liverpool it's different. At Liverpool, you're gonna have most of the ball. So do your tactics make sense to what Liverpool need and to what you're trying to do? Because you're used to, opposition probably gonna have like 35. We're probably gonna have about 35, potentially 40% of the possession, but they're gonna have about 50, 60% of that possession, right? So when that happens, you can counter attack, you can transition. We saw it first game last season, Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Transition. We saw what Semenyo did, how he ripped up thing. That's kind of like what I saw with Victor Munoz. Is that how you want to play? Obviously, Liverpool chasing the game at that point before we obviously got the penalty, right? So is that what you're trying to do? Okay, well, that only works then in a certain game state where it's Liverpool losing. If that's the case, then it you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work. Like, listen, like I said, he might be able to fix it. We made big signings and they're shit. We have players that can work in manager systems. They just ain't big money. So yeah, I agree. Not listen, you don't need to be big money signings, right? I think there was a difference in the fluidity in attack because we got in quite a few times between this and last season, but the main problem still remains controlling teams defensively. I don't know, man. I saw those stats and I was like, kind of the same stats. Liverpool had 27 shots in a game. 7 of those were on target. That sounds like a game from last season. I'll be honest, man. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Obviously, I'm not happy that, Balde wants to. I don't know if he wants to leave or he's just not really first choice over there. It's a little bit annoying. I can't lie. Balde's my guy. I like him. I think he's still. He's had a rough couple of seasons. I'll tell you that much. Like since Hansi Flick has kind of come in. At first, it looked like it was really going to work. Pick up an injury, loss of form. He's a weird one. Like his price tag. Like, but let's put it this way. I'd still be selling Simicast to bring him in. I'd rather at least have those two. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know. Bit more quality on the ball. I don't think Kirk has got some quality, just not that much. But listen, it is what it is. Obviously, these three, these are like the main. I don't want to say culprits. That sounds slightly kind of harsh, right? But yeah, these are the main three that everyone's obviously got beef with. Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and Florian Wirtz. A lot of people are calling for Trey to come on the pitch. I've seen obviously what people have said here about, Szoboszlai. At one stage, I thought he was better than Nuno Mendes. Yeah, same. Yeah, bro, don't get twisted. So did I. Now, obviously, Nuno Mendes is clear of Balde, but yeah, I definitely thought that at one stage, maybe like before PSG won that first Champions League. But yeah, listen, look, you got this trio here, right? And I think one of the things that is for me is interesting. I think is just the positioning of all of these players, right? Especially like specifically, obviously against Newcastle. So you can see here, right? Look, let's see if I can. Don't know if you guys can kind of see that, right? I got this spot which is so annoying. Like it's bugging me. I'm not gonna pop it here, but like I just saw it and I was like, I thought that went. Anyway, sorry, distracted. Look at the positioning of the Liverpool midfield. Look at the positioning of the Newcastle midfield. If you can't really see, Newcastle's on the left in the blue, Liverpool's in kind of like that pink color, right? Liverpool's midfield, you can see they're going, obviously going up. Look at where 38 and 8 are. They're obviously ahead of the halfway line. Now you look at Newcastle's, they are below the halfway line. Do you get it? So I look at that, and again, it's about whatever your instructions are, whatever the role is of said players. I think it was, who was it? Stern, number 14, and Lewis Miley, who is number 67, right? Look at the positioning of those two. Look how close they are to each other, right? Same with, to be fair, with Grav and Szoboszlai, close enough to each other to be able to pop the ball to each other, right? Not an issue. But look where they are. They are above that. Now, again, Liverpool high line. They've got more territory. They are dominating possession. They're dominating the ball, more actions, everything. Again, things that you would expect from Liverpool, right? Because they are Liverpool. But when you look at that, if Liverpool lose the ball, and obviously, as we saw, where Liverpool lost the ball at the moment, and we saw it for both of their goals, bang. That was the issue. Straight off the rip, that is the issue. You leave yourself in these kind of situations, right? Where now you're like this. Now you're like, bro. Now all of a sudden Newcastle are just onto your back line. They're there and they don't have to do much. I think I said this before with Como, the game against Como, right? Liverpool ended up winning. Xhaka scored. Everyone was blah blah blah, whatever, right? What was Como? If you guys watch it again, what was that Como sent? I can't remember his name, and I keep saying the black centre back, and I don't want to keep saying it, but I can't remember his name. But him, yeah. What was he constantly doing? Popping that ball in. If it wasn't Batarina, it was the other guy. But they were behind Liverpool's midfield. So you still got your two, and I get it. In the kind of rest defense, it's almost like a 4. He almost lines up in like a 4-4-2, right? With that 4-4-2, you got Florian Wirtz alongside Alexander Isak, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, and then obviously you got your two wingers who, in theory, should then be dropping in, right? The problem is that those two midfielders, those two pivot players, they're obviously, we're calling them pivot players, but they are pushed up so high that they're almost just like attacking eights at this point. Now, if you're already playing with a number 10 in Florian Wirtz, that ain't going to work, big man. Like, in terms of defensively, I don't think. Now, going forward, like everyone keeps mentioning, yeah, going forward, it'll be calm. But Liverpool going to be in this same situation you guys can see on your screen. They're going to be in that situation loads of times this season. Again, let's keep it a buck. We're facing Osula and Vissa. Vissa, I rate. Osula, he's unorthodox, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I hear it. But we're not up against Arsenal. We ain't up against Man City. We ain't up against Chelsea. We're not up against Spurs. We're not up against United. We were facing a Newcastle side who had them, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So that doesn't bode well going forward. They also had a midfield of Lewis Miley and Stur. I'm sorry, but they are not it. They're not good at all. And I promise you, I didn't look at that and think, yeah, they got bullied, you know. They got bullied in the midfield. Liverpool, outnumbered them in the midfield. They were getting tackles in. And no. I think McAllister came on and was added some form of steal. I think he got loads of like tackles or whatever it was. I think I saw it yesterday. But again, we're not talking about, these players are coming in and, we're coming up against that should be food for Dominik Szoboszlai and Ryan Gravenberch up against Stur. And no disrespect to them, but up against Stur and freaking Lewis Miley. That should be food for you guys. You two plus Florian Wirtz, yeah, that should be easy money. That should be easy money. Like, you should be going in there and showing your quality. Listen to the players that I just said. Dominik Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch, and Florian Wirtz up against Stur and freaking Lewis Miley. And Vissa, who's a striker playing as a 10. It didn't happen to me. It didn't happen that way, though. They looked the more cohesive unit. They look like they know what they were doing. That's a midfield three that's never, ever, to my knowledge, Newcastle fans, apologies, to my knowledge, have never played together. But Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and Florian Wirtz have definitely played together. They look like strangers yesterday. They look like utter strangers. But again, we're just fans, right? I don't know. Is this because the manager is asking the team to operate in a certain kind of way? He doesn't mind having the 2 8s in that kind of position. I saw a quote, right? It's from Iraola. I'm going to read it out to you because I didn't get it. I might just put it on the screen, actually. Fuck it. Forget it. Big up to everybody. Let me read these comments first before I get this up. Big up to everybody. Like I said, man, morning to everybody. Savage, like I said, 11 o'clock we'll be going with the Hangover show. This will be redirected as soon as I am done here. At one stage, I thought he was better than... Oh, yeah. The damage Hughes has done to the squad with the wrong profile of players brought in will take some time to fix. Boy, Gravenberch, big up Tony as well, man. Good morning to you. Grav on 280k a week is absurd. Gravenberch in my opinion, is rubbish. So Iraola is telling Grav and Zobo to push up. I can't say yes definitively, obviously, but in my mind, this has been going on since last season. At what point is that now just a manager thing? Like, maybe it might change, by the way. Obviously, Iraola just come in. Maybe the players are still kind of, reverting to type, so to speak. In certain game states, you just revert to what you know. We saw it with Trent at times when he was at Liverpool. He just starts spamming crosses like some idiot, and you're like, why do you keep doing that? It's because you revert to type. You revert to what used to work, and then hope that it just kind of works for you now, right? So yeah, I think he wants them dominating and pushing up in terms of the press further up the field. Yeah, I do think he does want that, and he feels that if he can win the ball high, Jurgen Klopp, right? If you win the ball higher up, then you're kind of good to go. The difference is that Jurgen did it with a number 9 who played almost basically as a 10, and he still had a number 6. You're trying to, so you've still got numbers in the middle of the path. You're trying to do it with a number 9 who doesn't come back, a 10 who sometimes comes back. So you've only got 2 in the middle. You're leaving yourself so threadbare. And that's the bit that confuses me. And that's why it works for Klopp. Also, as well, the team pressed as a unit. So like I said, Firmino would drop in. But guess what? Firmino, I don't know, Wijnaldum, Henderson, Milner, or Fabinho, they all press as a unit. Like I said, Isak ain't dropping in. Florian Wirtz, he drops in, but he's only really dropping in so he can pick up the ball. He's not really dropping in to help kind of thing. So he's just kind of there, a bit flimsy on the ball and all that kind of stuff. So you've literally left. And then Szoboszlai will go on his stupid run. Sometimes it's just one of them there. Look at this picture here on the screen. You can see Liverpool getting cut out. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. This is the bit that really does confuse me, is that defensively, I don't understand why you leave yourself so open. The risk can't be this high, in my personal opinion. It doesn't seem like it's been thought out, if I'm being honest, but I don't know. The same, you just realize you have a spot. Yesterday, I realized we ain't pressing from the front. Yeah, I hear it. Wirtz is a big up songs 4K. Wirtz is a luxury player without the output. To this day, I'm still wondering, why did you sign Wirtz? Like, I didn't need Wirtz. You know what I mean? I didn't ask for Wirtz. As soon as we lose the ball, we're screwed. And this is what I'm saying. Big up Jaskaran. This is what I'm saying. Every time Liverpool lose the ball, it's, oh my God, fucking hell, panic stations. Every time. Bearing in mind, we're laughing at Manchester City, right? We're laughing at Manchester City, and we're saying they look like, when they lose the ball, all of a sudden, Elliot and by the way, Manchester City had Mark Gay and Elliot Anderson in the middle of the park. This is what I'm saying. It is the systems. Maresca, right? The system that you're using for the players that you currently have, it's not going to work. You're going to look vulnerable. Bournemouth work, they look dangerous on the fucking on the attack. I promise you. Where was Gay, who's a defender, by the way? Elliot Anderson, who's a midfielder by trade. I'd say a bit more defensive, but we can say he's a kind of like a jack of all trades, right? He can get forward. He can obviously get back, like in the Declan Rice kind of mold, right? But you're talking about, you have those two in your middle of the park. You're not even in a position where you've got Szoboszlai, who's more of an attacking player, and someone like Gravenberch, who wants to get forward a lot more than he wants to defend, right? You've got a defender in there, and you still look vulnerable. That let me know immediately, this is a system thing. Sorry, this is the instruction thing. Let me not say system. It's an instruction thing. What are you telling these two? Because you're always going to dominate the ball. Your team is just like Liverpool. Your team's pushed up high over the halfway line, blah, blah, blah. Is that the reason why? I don't know, man. It's just so frustrating when you think about it. At least if you leave the mids behind, we have cover. Chala to the Kunya Kutas. Chalaba, we have no strength in our midfield. So are we saying, people, then, that we want another midfield? We'll use Lamine Kamara, That's the one I think most people seem to like. So do you guys think if we get Lamine Kamara, Liverpool will look just better? Let me not say they'll look the best, because I don't know, but they'll just look better defensively. Do you think that? So you think then what will naturally happen is, because he's there, if Szoboszlai decides to bomb forward or whatever, let's just say he goes in the midfield alongside him, you can still have your number 9 who doesn't come back, your number 10 who kind of comes back, and if Zobo does go, whatever, as long as he stays. So the manager's going to now tell him to stay. Do we feel like that's going to happen? That's the bit I'm trying to fit. Again, by the way, I have no idea. It could happen. I'm not saying it's beyond the realms of possibility. I'm just trying to figure out, because if he's not asking one of them to do it now, I don't get why he's going to ask someone else to do it when they come in, if he's already not asking the players to do that now. Do you get it? A 10 and 2 8s will always be unbalanced on counterattacks. But this is what I'm saying. Mac was the only midfield to tackle and win. Yeah. It's mad. Big up anytime, Izzy, man. Morning to you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Players whose best trait is carrying is just an error, to be honest. They keep vacating space, and that leaves us. Yeah, 100%. Now, don't get twisted. You know I don't rate this midfield anyway. I've been saying we need to get a new midfield, like a completely new midfield. But I do need to see what kind of idea do you have for the midfield. You know, are you in the Barcelona PSG mode where you've got retainers? Literally, they're all kind of just like a retainer in that entire midfield. So it's not so much about, yes, you've got players who are physical or have that physicality, like Joao Neves, like Fabian Ruiz, now like Rodri, obviously coming in, who can get around the pitch. But ultimately, these guys are retainers. They keep the ball, constant movement. There is just movement with all of them. They know exactly what to do when this player X, has the ball here, player Y then understands that, and player Z understands this. there is a cohesiveness about them. Liverpool do not have that. Like I said, it was like three strangers just in the middle of the park doing their own thing. So that's why you're going to bring in another stranger essentially. And what's he going to do? Do you know what I mean? And that's, I'm just trying to think. I'm genuinely trying to, that's why I'm not gassed. That's why you've not heard me say, sign this guy or like, so to speak, in terms of the midfield or whatever. Yeah, there's players I like. I like Wharton. I like Lamine Kamara. I think he's good. But I look at them and just think, yeah, I mean, if you're coming in to do the same job as like Gravenberch, then it's just not going to work. We're still going to look the same. It's just going to look different because you're doing it. Pep and Klopp dream team couldn't revive this squad. It's dead. It'd be interesting to see what Klopp would have done with this squad if he had it. If it's been going on with two different managers with a different style, surely it's a player thing. I don't know. You could be right. That's what I'm saying. I'm not this. None of this is. Usually I might be a bit more. I might give you a more absolute answer. I actually don't know. Because for me, Liverpool have looked like this since Klopp was here. In his last season or two. Where like really since Liverpool signed McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, we've looked like this, in my personal opinion. For me, they were never the right players. I don't care that they won the league; they were just never the right players for that midfield. You saw anyway when Liverpool did win the league. When we got to like January, February, you can see the team was very, very poor, and defensively they looked completely open anyway. So all that juice that they had built up had just run out somehow in the same season. Like that, when does that happen? In the same season? You just ran out of everything. You're so lucky that you built up such a lead that you were able to, you can now just get by with these kind of performances like Liverpool against Newcastle the other day. You can draw 2-2 here, you could win that game 1-0 there, 2-0 there, and look rubbish, but you've already put the damage is already done from early on in the season. That's what I'm saying. It's like that was it. I've said it many times, the best game I've seen of Liverpool in the last, let's say, since Slot first came to now is that game against Manchester United away at Old Trafford. I think it was 3-0. I think Diaz scored, I believe, when Liverpool were in the white kit. I think it was 3-0. I could be wrong in the scoreline. Gravenberch, McAllister, I think, and Szoboszlai, they were good. There was a cohesiveness about them. The way that they were moving around the pitch, it seemed like they had one another on their mind in terms of, if I go here, Sobo can only go there, so I'm going to make sure I go to this position. And Szoboszlai wasn't making just endless, runs. And McAllister was. Do you get what I'm saying? I can't remember if McAllister was definitely playing, but I just remember Gravenberch and Szoboszlai in that game, and I just remember thinking, yeah, like you can see the way that they are moving around the pitch, and you can see when they are moving together, the team just looks more cohesive. That's just my thing. The team looks more cohesive. At the moment, like I said, it's like a bunch of strangers. Iraola said Grab pushing up wasn't the problem. Others not adjusting. Yeah, let me get up now, actually. Let me get it up. Now, process of elimination. We've changed the manager now. It's time to change the players. And if it don't work, then the manager was the wrong choice. I mean, you're going to turn into Manchester United at that rate. All Iraola needs to do is tell the deep line midfielder not to cross the halfway line. If he does, you make it known to the player that if they do that again, they are off. All right, let me show you. Let me show you the wave. Let's take this comment off real quick. All right, so this is obviously, I said, let me just put it up because I saw it. And this was just a snippet, by the way. So again, watch the full thing. I implore you to do so. It's not just personnel. He said after the match, I understand that Ryan Gravenberch is basically the number 6 and is on the edge of their box before, obviously, Newcastle's first goal. Where did I take it off? Put it back there. Yeah, before Newcastle's first goal. If he shoots and scores, then we are saying what a play from Ryan Gravenberch. I don't want us to take that from his game, but we have to adapt as a team to these situations. We have to know these situations can happen. For the first one, I think we should just finish the great chance we created. We were on the edge of their box with a clear situation to shoot, but we didn't. And then you have to give credit to Alanga, obviously, for winning the race, which, again, I kind of agree with. I kind of agree with him. I can't lie in terms of what he's saying there, saying we were on the last line. We were on the edge of their box with a clear situation to shoot, but we didn't. And then you have to give credit to Alanga, obviously, for winning the race. Yeah, 100%. You have to give credit then to Alanga, but also as well, Liverpool should have been just finishing that. Like, Gravenberch, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, again, make better decisions, bro. That by the way, that situation, that's not a system tactical. No, that's just bad decision making. So in that sense, maybe getting in a different type of midfielder, maybe that situation could have ended differently. I don't know. I don't know. But again, going forward isn't where I'm necessarily looking at the team, and probably why I'm more concerned with trying to sort out how that rest defense kind of looks like. And guys, as we already know, that's going to be the main kind of buzzword for the next couple of days and next couple of weeks, especially if Liverpool play poorly against Nottingham Forest. I think Liverpool got next. So obviously I saw this as well, by the way. Paul Joyce on Liverpool's weakness in midfield. All of which cements the impression that Liverpool have not addressed the design faults which blighted last term through their summer business thus far, nor does it seem a remedy is being sought over the next week, given the focus is on recruiting wide men with Yankuba Minte and Bradley Barcola expensive targets. The departure of Curtis Jones will lead to more minutes for Trey, the promising 19-year-old, for example, rather than lead to a desire to bring in another midfielder. I just don't think neither him or Arne Slot, they never once really looked at this position and said, yes, I need to pattern this position. I need to sort out this position. I need something different in this area of the pitch. They've all looked at Gravenberch, and I think what they've done, in my opinion, they've looked at these three players. Now, individually, they bring certain kind of qualities and they can be good on their day, right? Individually. In this team, as a unit, I personally just don't think it works. Now, if you plotted Szoboszlai into a different team, if you plotted Gravenberch and then McAllister all into different teams, like you put McAllister in Manchester City's team as an example, I guarantee you'll just see a better McAllister. I guarantee it. Because that system feels like it would, well, under Pep anyway, I can't speak too much for now, but under Pep, it seems like that just suited him. It just suited what you was trying to do, kind of thing. You put, I don't know, Szoboszlai into, I don't know, you could even say like a Chelsea. I think it just works. Okay, again, maybe not under Alonso. I don't know what that looks like, but previous, when Liverpool obviously signed him, I think it just works. Gravenberch, put him into whatever, Ajax. Like, these things, they just work. Why did Gravenberch look the way he did when he was at Ajax? Because of the way their system is and the way that they want to play football, and it's all about short passes and, close connections and stuff like that. Liverpool don't really do that. There seems to be like this. Let me see if I can find the passing network here again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I look at that passing network. Yeah, between Sobo and Gravenberch, but between the rest, there's kind of, I mean, there's a bit of distances between the rest of them, if I'm being super honest. Like, look at the two centre-backs. Look at the distance they're covering to pass the ball to each other. Left back, centre-back. Yeah, left winger to left back, kind of close. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that Liverpool like these large distances when they play football. Do you get me? But again, that's neither here nor there. I think the main thing is, for especially me talking all about this today, is just purely about moving forward. How do Liverpool change this? What do Liverpool need to do differently in order to see different results? And what I mean by result, I don't even necessarily mean the 3 points at the end of a game. I think, cool, that's fine. And listen, nobody wants to lose football matches. Nobody wants to, drop points or anything like that. And that's absolutely cool. But we're not doing this again where it's, it's all right. It was Newcastle away and it's the first game of the season. We're not doing that again, guys. We're not. We're really, really not. You're going to get critiqued at this early stage, of course, but you're going to get critiqued if the performances are not changing, because they're not different to last season. It's different when the team is playing in a completely different way because you've got a new manager in and you're not necessarily performing. People are, just like they did with Slot when he first came in and the football was boring and nobody really liked it and all that kind of stuff. You still give them time, though. You give the team time and then you see what it kind of looks like later. And then you have certain games like against United or against Leverkusen, like some people would say Real Madrid and all these kind of things. You don't mind the wait because you can see something. You think you can see something at the bare minimum. if it's going to be the same, I don't understand when people, I don't want to say toxic positivity here, but when people say things like that in terms of, yeah, no, I'll give it time, but what are you seeing though? It looks the same. So what are you seeing that's making you think that? And then for you to then, I want to say vilify, but for you to then frown upon the opinion that others have, which is, no, man, like, we're tired of seeing this. I need to see something completely different. And then let me then, build up that moment, that momentum and stuff like that. But if not, why am I giving it time? Why am I wasting time? It's just pointless. It really, really is just pointless. So, yeah. The league is crap and open for any team to win. We are far from the team that we're dominating during Klopp's first. Oh yeah, come on, we are. I don't think we'll get back to that for a long, long time. Anyway, Rio in the Salah spot disconnected. Hopefully Iraola can sort it because he seems aware of the fact that we need to control games better, both in and out of possession. Based on the Carragher interview, I need to watch that interview. To be fair, I do need to watch that interview. I haven't watched it. I thought it was just going to be, with these. The reason I don't watch some of these interviews is because sometimes, they're just kind of boring. Like it's not necessarily insightful. If obviously that's just what I'm looking for from certain interviews, right? I'm not saying every interview has to be wildly insightful, but yeah, if it wasn't going to be boring, then and if it wasn't going to be fun and exciting, I'm just thinking, yeah, it's long. It's actually long. Just looking now on Twitter to see if there's any news before we head on out of here. What's the time? Look at that. See, look, Savage, I'm staying on point so that, you know what I mean? I can be off before that time. So 11 minutes, guys. If you've got any questions or anything like that, and then obviously we'll head on out of here. Sorry, Andy's saying you're a Liverpool fan. Yeah, unfortunately so, man. When we need personnel more than another system, Iraola hasn't even had 2 games. We need personnel more than another system. Then why not just keep the same manager? If we need, if it's just a personnel issue, why not just keep the same manager? Don't know, man. FYI, guys, Salah scored 2 yesterday. Just thought I'd let you guys know. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a look at this, actually. You know what? Let's share the screen, lah. You know what's crazy? We'll just do it anyway. We'll just do it. There we go. Hey, if you see anything on here, just close your eyes, man. I'm just checking to see if there's any news, anything before we head on out of here. Listen, my guy Anthony Gordon, come on. You know what I'm saying? 2 assists. Was it 5-0 in the end? I ended up tuning out in the game, man. It was too easy. It was too easy. What do you think is your solution to our rest defense? For me, Florian Wirtz can't be the number 10. Liverpool cannot play with a number 10. Or you know what? Let me not be so harsh. The role of that number 10 has to completely change. So I don't want him operating in the same areas that he's been operating in now. He basically just needs to be like another number 8 for me. That's the only way that I feel it works. Hold on, let's play 1 second. Where I live, I've got planes just flying over. Yeah. I don't like the 10 position. I don't think it's a position that necessarily works. Again, I think it can work at a team like Bournemouth when you don't have that much possession and you're counter-attacking more often than not. It makes it, in my opinion, a tad bit more easier than anything else, because effectively it's almost like just having a 4-4-2 all the time. But Liverpool are a team that dominates the ball, dominates possession, dominates territory. Yeah, I don't want a number 10. So yeah, I think Liverpool just need to go back to a 4-3-3. Doesn't matter how that 4-3-3 is. I don't like. Again, I'm not embedded in the idea of you have to have 1-6-2-8. It could just be 3 midfielders. Like, again, just work on that. Work on the combinations, man. Work on the rotations. Work on the passing networks and all these little silly little things. Well, I say silly, but these kind of things, in my opinion, will be the reasons as to why the midfield will just look better. So yeah, whether that's with Florian Wirtz in it or not, I don't really care. Either way, that's for me the only way where you're going to at least allow the opportunity for the midfield to look a bit better than it does now. Right now, I just think you're just leaving yourself open, and it ain't never going to change. Slot was shit beyond belief. I'm just asking the question, like, do you know what I mean? You're saying we don't need another, you don't want another system, but you hired a new manager. So the new manager is going to bring another system regardless. If not, then you should have just kept the old manager, because then it didn't really matter. If it's just about personnel, do you get what I'm trying to say? That's the point that I'm trying to make. Obviously, he was shit, but I'm saying if your rebuttal, I guess, to that was, oh yeah, just you don't need another. No, you definitely needed another system, because the system that you were using before didn't work with those players. So now let's see what that looks like. At the moment, it's a bit. What league was it? G 5-0. 5-0. Come on, bro. Pick up ends, man. Morning to you, my bro. I believe ends might be on over there with Savage. I don't know. I might hop on in there for like 20 minutes if Savage will allow. So I'll give him a shout in a bit. Or ends appeared out of nowhere for the yeah. It's weird. I know ends was he probably heard the Salah stuff and just chilled and then waited for the right moment to strike. Killer, absolute killer. If there's one player you would bring in, who would it be? If I could bring one player in, I don't know, man. I don't know. Who would I bring in? The players I would have brought in is already left and already moved. I would have brought in a Tonali, a Guimaraes, definitely one of those two. So someone in that kind of profile, maybe. So maybe Lamine Kamara. Yeah, I like Alex Scott. Yeah, maybe an Alex Scott type of player. So yeah, Lamine Kamara, Alex Scott, maybe those are the kind of players I think Liverpool need. Or drop Dom and Grav. You just want another clock 3-3 system because it's comfortable for you. It's comfortable for Liverpool. It's comfortable for Liverpool. Liverpool got to know what they are, innit? It's like Barcelona. Do you think Barcelona are going to all of a sudden start playing 3 at the back? No. They're going to play the exact same way that they've been playing. Little tweaks, of course. Flick in there. Flick isn't from the school of tiki-taka, so he has to obviously implement his own directness in terms of his own style of play and identity and stuff like that. But the team majority still plays tiki-taka, possession-based football. It's just a tad bit more direct than it used to be. So where they might keep possession a bit longer under Pep Guardiola, Luis Enrique, Tito Villanova, and all these other guys, right? Now they will go, let's go long quicker. Let's get there quicker, kind of thing. Liverpool, the same thing. That's what works for Liverpool. You can change certain ethoses about it. I'm not saying it has to be exactly the same, but like I said, it just works. Do you know what I mean? For Liverpool, every club has something that just works. Arsenal are a club that they have to play nice possession, kind of tiki-taka, light type of football. Man City are the same way. They can't play any other way, and it's going to be that effective. Or it's going to take years, should I say, before something like that can take effect. So yeah, that's all it really is for me anyway, where that's how I'm looking at it at this moment in time. Yeah, I just think 4-2-3-1, shit system. For a top club anyway, it's a shit system. I don't really know any top clubs that actually use a 4-2-3-1. Man City, no. You could say Man City maybe. With their rotations and stuff, is weird. They rotate so much. I don't actually know where their positions are. You could say them if you want to use them. PSG don't. Bayern. Kind of do, but don't. You could potentially say Bayern maybe. Obviously I know Jamal Musiala he's He's out, I believe. But again, roles, right? Kane drops in. Like it's little things, man. Like you can do these things, but you're gonna need to change what players are currently doing. That's what the issue is. For 100 mil, you play Wirtz until his legs stop working. I'm not trying to hear any of that. I don't like it that he got taken off yesterday. I loved it. I can't even lie, man. If you're shit, get off the pitch, man. But Wirtz for me is just he's performing so far. Let me not say he is. He is performing like a very just average Premier League player. There's nothing about Florian Wirtz that screams he is a player of a higher quality. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Jurgen Klopp can keep doing all the promo about he's this talent and all this crap. That's fine. That's absolutely fine, bro. Like, no one is saying that the kid is not talented. But guess what? You've not done more than Morgan Gibbs White. You've not done more than Dewsbury Hall since being here. These are what we would consider to just be your average kind of Premier League players. Good on their day, consistently, meh. That's what you are. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's where Florian Wirtz is at the moment. So until he can show that he can go above that kind of level, bro, right now you're on that kind of level. And I'll be honest, I'd rather have Morgan Gibbs White right about now. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's saying something considering he don't cost 116. Apparently that black purple Barca kit. Yeah, it's the nightclub. It's the nightclub. Obviously, they were celebrating Kobe Bryant's birthday. It would have been 48. 48? Yeah, 48. I'm sure it's 48. So big up to Barca and big up to them. I'm just looking at some of this stuff, man. Someone complaining here about Liverpool starting right back. This is meant to be a cross, by the way. That's mad. Let me see that again. I'll keep doing it. Make it a bit bigger for you guys. Yo, Freepok. That was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. Bloody hell. Again, but that's not tactical, by the way, people. I mean, that's just poor fucking quality. That is just poor freaking quality. What does he say here? Kirkers went out for goal. How is that even remotely possible? Oh, bro, this situation was so annoying, bro. Like, why did you fire it across like that? Like, I don't know, man. I thought, yeah. Someone just said I just pictured Robbo in this situation. Yeah, because Robbo's not doing that. Like Robbo would have seen. Look at Isak and I think that's Frimpong on the other side. Just got like. You don't have to do the most. Like that's really like what you're trying to do is fine in terms of put the ball in that area. You don't need to slam it across, my guy. I don't know, bro. This honestly, this Kirkes guy is so crazy. This team is basically this team is basically the Denver Nuggets. Elite attack. I won't say elite, but yeah, I get what you mean. 0 defense, more chaotic games. Yeah. I see the Denver Nuggets as well. I see their starting five. No, Mike, you're right. Big up to Mike as well, always, every single time. This could be a 13-14 season all over again. The only issue is we don't have exactly. This is what I'm saying. I actually feel more it's going to be like Mike, the 17-18 season. Yeah, 17-18. Obviously, if you even include Coutinho up until he obviously left for Barca, I would say I feel like it's going to be like that, where overall they're probably going to look somewhat good. What is all these planes? Overall, they are probably going to look good, so to speak. There's going to be some nice bits about them and stuff, and they're going to be threatening, so to speak. But you can, that this isn't a team that's going to win anything. Like the team isn't that good. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's just one of those, right? Same energy for Isak and Wirtz. What separates Wirtz and Dewsbury Hall? I think Dewsbury Hall, is a lot smarter in certain areas of the pitch. So in the forward areas, I feel like he makes smarter decisions. He seems to understand a lot better than Wirtz what is needed to be kind of done. I don't really feel like at times Wirtz is that smart in those kind of areas. I think you can visually see that he is talented and he can dribble and he can do X, Y, and Z, but he doesn't seem to. It's like, I don't want to say he makes wrong decisions. That's not what I'm trying to say, right? But when he is in those areas, it's either you're taking too long you're not executing it because you're not confident in whatever it is you're trying to do. Whereas I feel like Dewsbury Hall just does it. Whether it comes off or doesn't come, he just does it, kind of thing. And I just think he just, and again, this isn't me saying, so please do not take this an absolute. This is not me saying that Dewsbury Hall is some light years ahead. No, he is not. Do you get what I'm saying? And again, even this, he's not light years ahead of Wirtz in this category that I'm thinking of anyway. It's just, for me, it's just a noticeable difference when they're both in these kind of areas. But again, Wirtz is talented, isn't it? As everyone keeps telling me. Wirtz played like an under-21 in a men's game, floating around. Yeah, he never wants to take the game by the scruff of the neck. Like, he's just always just there. Like, that's the one thing I always find weird with Wirtz is like, you're just there. Like, no one really notices that you're there until you get the ball, kind of thing. Like, and when you do get the ball, it's not like you're doing chirky things where it's just magical. Like when you get the ball, it's just basic kind of stuff, and that's what's weird to me, because I thought you was going to be someone who, like, you kind of, maybe taking the game by the scruff of the neck is the wrong phrase, but I just felt like you was gonna, oh, okay, Wirtz is on the ball. He's gonna make shit happen. He's definitely gonna. It doesn't seem like none of that's really about. I don't know, man. Weird player. Big up Lewis Kumas because he showed a lot in that cameo. I think he's a rubbish. Hoofing the ball is not rocket science. Frimpong has put some decent crosses in as well as offer different options. The difference is recent couldn't do anything but hoof. I hear it. Good point. I also think Isak should have taken the pen. That's hard. I hear it. And a different type of player would have done that. So I'm not going to disagree with this, because I've seen a lot of people talking about the Isak penalty thing. But at the same time, Szobo is the penalty taker. It is what it is. But I'm not going to disagree with you. I hear what you're saying. I fully hear it. Because even I was like, nah, just take it, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you should be confident enough to be putting that in the back of the net anyway. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah. Pressure got to Frimpong and Kirkes, not the right mentality at top club. I just think they're both really good squad options. So you need to have players of a higher level, and them two can be your squad. If PSG had Kirkes and Thing, I think they'd be fine. These times PSG just signed Digne, so I'm pretty sure they'll be super calm with Kirkes. Do you get what I'm saying? Not as disappointing as others without fullback. Robbo was passed backwards king, and Trent couldn't do anything else. So hoof to hoof. Nah, I think that's a bit harsh. I think that is a tad bit harsh, bro. Tad bit harsh. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Big up to everybody for stayed off. Big up to everybody, obviously, for locking in. As I said, it will be redirected straight onto Savage with the Hangover show. Let me see if he's already started. I'm sure he has already. Savage Talks Football. Yep, he's already started, people. He's over there with ends as well. So yeah, make sure you guys obviously smash the like button on this video and also on their video. We'll probably have more conversations as the week kind of unfolds. I know there's going to be more topics. Liverpool potentially signing new players and things like that. So yeah, we'll wait and see. Big up to everybody. Blessed for joining me in the morning. Yeah, man, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and I probably will have a video out for later on today. William Gomez. So make sure you stay locked in, stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys soon, man.